Speedrun for how quickly I can predict things incorrectly. Go. Welcome back to the class, everyone. 2 days ago, CJ confirmed that Lord Vader will be getting an entirely new team made up of Darkside clones. And while they were kind enough to give us the names of the first two, the names of the other two remain a mystery. I just realized we've been doing a lot of speculation videos recently. I guess this is just what happens when we kind of get partial information. But anyways, before we move into what characters I think could fit as Darkside clones under Lord Vader, I did want to address the elephant in the room, or maybe it's the Sidious in the room, and that is there's also 2 new Jedi Vanguard characters coming. And the reason why I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking on it, but I guess I do want to address it here at the beginning, is because given the current state of things and the information we were given, it seems kind of obvious that it's going to be the 2 guys here in the picture that we don't already have in game. I'll probably butcher their names. I think it's Aegon Kolar, and then the other one is Sacy Tin. Kind of sounds like Stacy, but it's probably not. But anyways, the reason why we believe it's going to be them is because along with the fact that Lord Vader getting his new team, we also got information that our new legendary is going to be a brand new Mace Windu. And in addition to that, we are going to have a very special era battle where we will use Jedi Vanguards from the era of Revenge of the Sith and arrest our Sidious, or at least try to. So if we're getting a new Mace Windu, a better version, a legendary version, if you will, and then we're having this very specific mission where we're going to arrest Darth Sidious, it would make a lot of sense for those characters to be the ones that actually did it. Now, it might not be. It might be some of the other characters that we previously talked about, like Sin or even Quinlan Vos. I would personally love Quinlan Vos, but it seems to me now that the faction Jedi Vanguard was really code for this group of guys over here. We could be wrong. That's kind of what the intro of this video was about. But at the same time, I feel like that's probably more set in stone than most things. Also, one thing that I'm really hoping for, and this is kind of a pipe dream, at least right now, Kit Fisto rework. Like, make Kit good for the first time pretty much ever. Well, I guess with the exception of the current raid, he's very important. But right now, his overall PvP viability is completely in the trash, and getting to see him be a part of a new Mace team along with those other 2 Jedi we just mentioned, that would be really cool. Jocasta Nu would obviously be the 5th, but we already kind of knew about her. But now, on to clones. So the first 2 clones that we already have confirmed that I referenced to in the beginning is CX2, which if you don't remember, he was one of the enhanced slash brainwashed clones that we saw in the Bad Batch, as well as Oppo. Oppo is really cool. If you've never heard of Oppo, then I'm sorry, because his entire existence is essentially inspired from Avatar: The Last Airbender. Dave Filoni, one of the creators for the Clone Wars, he actually worked on Avatar: The Last Airbender for a couple of years, and he decided to take that as inspiration, give the name Oppo, which is a combination of Appa and Momo, to this clone trooper, and then you'll even see the arrow, kind of like Aang has, on his helmet. So the reason why I'm bringing these 2 characters up wasn't just to tell you fun facts about Avatar: The Last Airbender, but it was also to kind of let everyone know the criteria that we're working with. I'm really glad they told us CX2 this early on, because I would not have guessed that he would be a Darkside clone under Lord Vader. I would have thought they were more aiming towards ones that we either see Darth Vader working with later, or even characters that are directly with the 501st, like Oppo himself. But with that being our criteria, there are going to be more options, and we probably should be talking about some of them now. The first one I want to talk about, and I don't think this one is very likely, is a clone trooper we saw in the Bad Batch by the name of Mayday. Mayday has a very cool character arc. Well, doesn't end well, but he's a cool character, and he works alongside Crosshair, rather Crosshair works alongside him. He would have fit the description of a Darkside clone, obviously not working at all with Lord Vader, very much the same as CX2, but at the same time, they really give him a good guy persona, despite the fact that he's been working with the Empire for quite a while now. He's very much against them, and specifically the lieutenant that he's under. The next one that I want to talk about is a little bit more likely, but I will be honest, I hate this. And that is the Purge Trooper. The Purge Trooper doesn't have a name, or at least not one that I know of has a name. They are technically, the first generation of them were clones, so they fit that description, and then they're very much dark side. and they were really instrumental in fulfilling Order 66 once it got towards the middle and the end of it, working very closely with the Inquisitorius. The one point for this suggestion would probably be the fact that we already have a model for them in game. I'm not sure what their kit would look like. They might rearrange it, they might not. But at the same time, it could be something CG could do if they wanted to be lazy. But I don't know. If we're finally getting the Lord Vader, the dark side Lord Vader clone team, I want clones to be standing behind Lord Vader that could have kind of been there at Operation Nightfall. And I guess CX2 also kind of already distorts this, but 3 out of 4 would be better than 2 out of 4 to me. The next one that someone mentioned, and I like this one, and I also don't like this one, and that is going to be Scorch. Scorch was a Republic Commando that we had in Bad Batch. She's also really known for Republic Commando, a very popular video game. And I love him. I want him in game. I do not want him to be coming in under Lord Vader, because that would signal to me that we're never getting the rest of his squad, and that seems kind of sad because his squad is very cool. So yeah, he does fit the description, clone trooper, dark side, but at the same time, I would much rather reserve him for his own team later on. And I guess they could kind of do that, but then they'd have to keep bringing dark side clones, and I guess I'm totally for that. So maybe Scorch isn't so bad after all. Next up is going to be Hauser. Hauser is going to run into some of the very similar problems for me that Mayday did. While he was technically a dark side clone working for the Empire, the dude's good. He's pretty morally upright the entire time. He's very against anything that the Empire's wanting to do that's blatantly evil. He also looks really hunky, so I don't know, that just makes me generally like him a little bit more. With all that being said, I don't really think he would be the perfect definition of Wally's Empire for an actual dark side clone. I would just like to, similar to Scorch, I would just kind of like to see him in game at any rate. Now, I think we've mostly been talking about Bad Batch characters, but there are some Clone Wars characters who I think could probably fit this definition as well. And while it really didn't last long, Tup is a possible option for a dark side clone. For those of you who are not aware, he was in the Clone Wars. He actually did quite a few things in the Clone Wars, but the most notable for this video at least is he was actually the clone where Order 66 triggered early. It's the whole thing that led to the Fives plot of him researching what Order 66 actually was. So yeah, it kind of fits what we were talking about before. Clone, dark side, working to hunt in Jedi. The biggest issue I see with him, he's really not Empire. Like, he's pretty much killed in the process of that whole arc, so he never actually goes on to do things like CX2 and or Oppo would. He's just completely out of the picture. Is dark side, is clone though, is cool. Next up, and this is where I think I'm gonna start being more on the side of this is probably actually gonna happen. This is Jesse. Jesse's a 501st member, so similar to Oppo, but he has a very, very prominent storyline in Clone Wars Season 7. He does exist before that, he is around there. He does work directly with Anakin at some points, so he kind of fits, or really ticks every single box that we would want him to, and the fact that we don't have any version of him currently in game, to me, I would want him more than, say, and we'll talk about this in a second, like a dark side Rex, where yeah, Rex did exhibit the beginning stages of Order 66 before Ahsoka kind of fixed him, but at the same time, Jesse, I want a Jesse in game, and if he has to be the dark side variation that really is more focused on, that's perfectly fine by me. And now for what I think will probably be the most likely candidate for a dark side clone to work under Lord Vader, it's Fox. It's like, when I think a clone who's dark side, it's not necessarily Stormtrooper, but clone who's dark side, boy, do I think Fox. Fox did a lot of notorious things. He was a clone trooper, does go to the Empire, is a dark side clone. This is the guy who kills Fives. And I realize, you know, someone probably had to do it, but yeah, a lot of people haven't liked him for quite a while after that, and I'm not sure if this is confirmed or not, so I guess you can correct me in the comments. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of theories about him having a direct communication line with Palpatine, and actually maybe having Order 66 more in his system than the others from the very beginning, or just being fully aware, rather than it be an inhibitor chip. So, and the other reason why I think he's so likely is because he's dark side clone. He was actually a pretty important member of when Darth Vader goes to hunt down Jocasta Nu in the comic book. And this might seem like an obscure detail, and it kind of is. This whole arc is where, or this whole comic book is where we got our current Conquest character from. So someone at CG, at least one of them, read this comic, thought it was really cool is bringing Jocasta Nu in. And Fox plays a pretty pivotal role here, where he is working under Lord Vader. He's still part of just like a shock trooper Coruscant guard. And actually, this might be a knock against him as a possibility. He doesn't give his clones Vader's description, and that Vader's not a Jedi despite having a lightsaber. So they actually shoot at him. That's what you're actually seeing in this clip from the comic right now. And because of that, plot twist, Vader kills Fox. So again, still fitting all the definitions. Still dark side, still clone, still working under Vader. Lots of things going for him in regards to possibly being the dark side clone. Now, there are 3 other options I want to talk about. They're kind of lame, so I left them for last. And that is just dark side versions of clones that we currently have. The first one is Crosshair, and this is probably the least lame out of all of them, just because Crosshair has been kind of a highly demanded character for a while now in the game. We do have a light side variation of him, but plot twist, if you didn't already know, he's dark side for almost all of the Bad Batch series. So getting him in would be very similar to CX2, how we got him, and he would just be under Lord Vader, probably keeping most of his same outfit. I guess one thing that I did find interesting was when we first got him, he's Crosshair scarred, and I believe when they first announced him, there was like a Crosshair redeemed. So they've always made a point to make this variation of him stick out, and maybe that was just really long future proofing. Maybe that wasn't because they were planning on having another version of him in the Lord Vader team, but that would be interesting. Next up is going to be Rex. We talked about this a little bit earlier. This would just be to represent the few minutes or hours, I don't know, where Order 66 triggered him before Ahsoka could ultimately fix him. The only really nice thing about this is it would kind of be cool to have Rex behind Lord Vader, but at the same time, that never really happened, so I don't know if we dock cool points for that. And last but not least is Cody. I wrote a good Cody here, which is ironic considering this one would be bad. But again, going back to the Bad Batch series, we actually do see Cody, after he is passed through Order 66, doing things for the Empire. Although, we also actually did see him in Revenge of the Sith, firing at Kenobi, so we do have multiple pieces of proof of him being a dark side clone. So that is going to be the video for today. Let me know if I missed one. I picked 10, so hopefully we covered all the ones that could possibly be. But I guess let the vote show. I would like Jesse and Fox if I could choose, but we all know how that works out, and we know how good I am at predicting these types of things. So as always, let me know what you guys think in the comments. And until next time, stay awesome.